But at this point, not a surprise to Dell Curry, Steph's dad, the great sharpshooter himself, who joins us here on Game Time. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a good wave we're riding. I'm still on top. So hopefully we'll end that way.
Talked to Steph a couple of days ago. He said you've become his new roommate.
Exactly. Living downstairs. Riley's become me and my wife's new roommate. She often comes down, hugs the bed, so that's okay. Granddaughters can do anything.
You never got to play past the second round of the playoffs. What has this experience been like? Is it a vicarious thing for you, or is it just watching your son and enjoying his success?
A little bit of both. Obviously, vicariously, I get to feel what it's like as a player's dad. Not really, being on the floor, but I get that feeling. But also being able to just share this experience. It's the first time for me going through the third round, the finals, Western Conference Finals, and then the big show right here. So it's good to be able to live vicariously, but also to be able to experience it through him as well.
Kenny and I have sons, but we're sort of like micromanagers. So my question to you is that, with all your son's great success, do you micromanage them? You call them on every mistake, shoot like this, do this, follow through, blah, 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 blah?
I did that until they were about 13. And then I stepped away, thought they needed another voice. But look, when you're at this level, you've got the best coaches in the league. You have all the tools, all the equipment that you need to be the player that you can. And he's reached the pinnacle of the league, of his career, as far as his attitude and his skill level. So now I'm just a fan right now. Sit back as a father and watch.
Dell, you obviously have watched his career from very young and followed and nurtured him and so forth. When did you know that he had a chance? He had a chance to maybe be a pro, and then when did you know what, he has a chance to be special?
A pro probably after his first collegiate tournament in Michigan, where he played pretty good. Thought, okay, this guy can play next level. Continues to get better and grow into his body. But I don't know if I ever thought he'd get to this level. Once you get to the NBA, okay, you're playing amongst the best, but to get to the level to where you're in MVP status, a lot of things have to happen. You got to be healthy. You have to be good. You have to have good people around you. And then you have to have a little luck. All that's come together for Steph and for his team this year.
The one question I would have is, I know you get nervous before games, obviously, but you also have another son who's a professional in Seth. Because Steph has reached such high pinnacles, do you get more nervous for Seth's games than you do for Steph's?
I would say nervous. I get a little anxious for Seth to get a chance, a shot. I think he can play in the league. He's had a couple of call-ups, but some of his call-ups have been with pretty good teams, and the minutes aren't there.
Right.
It's a big summer for him. I think if he can get out in Vegas and get some good time to kind of show what he can do. I think he can definitely play in the league, but just anxious for him to get that
opportunity.
opportunity.
Growing up, who did you think would be the better player between those two?
The older brother always beats the younger brother, right?
So don't put that man on the spot.
I had to.
I want to know who's the best shooter in the family. Right now.
Steph probably.
Okay.
Seth is close.
When did that happen? Close?
Oh, yeah, Seth is close.
Seth is close.
Seth is close to Stephen. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm third in line. My daughter might be a better shooter.
When did it change over? That Cosby moment when you played in the backyard with his son or whatever?
Probably when they were both in college. I could still hold my own until they got to college. Steph was probably his junior year, the year he came out. And for Seth, probably the same. But I'm getting old. My game's going south. Theirs is still going north.
Del, check this out. 21 seasons ago, you were the NBA's sixth man of the year. You knocked down 152 threes that year. And for our younger audience, I feel like I need to explain this, but 152 threes was a ton. It was a million back then because the game just was played a lot differently. Steph beat his own record with 286 this season. I guess I have a couple questions here. Do you ever wish you'd played in this era?
I have a better question. You still have that flat top.
No.
And that mustache.
Mustache.
You wish you played in this era, for one.
Okay, little left hand flow.
Absolutely, I wish I played in this area. The three ball, a big part of every team. If you don't have a three-point composition in your game, you're not going to go very far in today's NBA. And then I'd also like to play with Steph. He can shoot the ball, but he loves to create, keep his teammates involved. And all the attention that he draws, you're going to get good open shots, and I'm going to knock them down.
You know what? A lot of people don't really talk about his toughness, physical and mental toughness. When he took that hard spill the other day, were you worried of him not coming back?
No, I was worried because it took him so long for him to get up off the floor. His mom, obviously, and wife were very worried. But once I got a chance to go back in the locker room and I saw him up watching the game, critiquing what was going on, I knew he'd be all right. I knew he'd try to get back in the game. Fierce competitor, wants to get back in the game, not for himself and to show people that he's okay, but for his teammates.
You know what? When LeBron James won his first MVP, I actually was doing this tour with him. And he asked me, he said, what do you think we're going to do next year? I said, well, the toughest thing for me to tell you something is you're the MVP and to believe that you still have to work on things. So whatever I say right now, you're probably not going to believe because you're the best player in the world. Steph Curry, your son, is the MVP of the league. What do you think he has to work on to continue being a better player?
I'll answer that for you. Nothing. N-O-T-H-I-N-G. N-U-F-F-I-N. Nothing and nothing.
He's got to work to continue to get stronger, to regain the strength that he lost over the course of the season.
Yep.
Because he's the type guy, he's going to come back and try to validate this year's MVP. He's not going to rest on his laurels. So, his game, his skill level, still have to work on that so it doesn't get diminished. But just continue to get his body to get it stronger because, again, people try to body him up, try to be physical with him. He knows that. He understands that. And he's got to combat that.
All right, let's get to the important stuff. What do you make of the stardom of your granddaughter, Riley, who's now on T-shirts being sold outside the arena?
Well, she's just like that at home. What you see on camera is what you get at home. Again, I've said this. I just like the idea that she's able to understand what's going on. She's able to go through this with her dad. And when she looks back, she'll remember everything that happened. And I tell you what, she's a character at home.
That's a home video that you didn't have to shoot.
No, this is our favorite, right? The family, that's the favorite part right there. She understands what's going on. She likes the spotlight, and she'll give it to you.
That's great. Continue to enjoy it. So much fun for the Curry family. It's been fun to watch from the outside. Dell Curry with us here on Game Time.
Congratulations, Dad.
Thanks, guys.